1. Mr. Speaker, ladies and gentlemen, the simple reason why our side takes this debate by a clear margin is because our case evolved throughout time. Their side was largely circular and tautological and nuanced on an oversimplification of passion and how its importance is really, really good. But we think that to a large extent, that is overrated, especially in the nuance of this debate. There are 3 reasons why their side cannot take the victory over our team. Firstly, there was no nuance or a little nuance to the plight of working class students. The only ones who can really afford taking on all of this risk, even if they're passionate, are really the wealthy individuals who have a lot of money from their parents. We told you 5 things which were round winning. Firstly, the characterization of the working class students and how ultimately they are used to working hard, they are battle hardened, something you get from my first speaker, given the reality of their financial situation. They need to work hard or else things aren't going to work. And of course, we can't just fiat that, but of course, they need to be creative to figure it out. Secondly, something you get from Ela, which was unresponded to. The burnout of passions, which actually make it worse on opposition side because you have the most to lose, ladies and gentlemen. Thirdly, the path to financial stability, which is something you only get from our side because at least on average, things are going to gravitate towards the mean, and on average, people will be wealthier on our side. They have a higher chance to be able to get jobs, and as a consequence, that ironically allows them to pursue their passions later. And there was just no response to what we told you about how they can pursue their passions right now. Case in point, we're debating, we're very passionate about it, but I'm pretty sure we have careers like what the previous speaker said, best of luck in your consulting career. Fourthly, in terms of the nature of passions being dynamic, you get that from first speaker. He told you about how these things evolve. A lot of kids are immature, they don't know what they want. And the very fact that it's unclear and unsure means that we shouldn't concretize our academic future and professional future around it. And lastly is the nuance of vocational courses, something you get from first speaker. He told you about how a lot of these working class students have the drive or incentive to take a vocational job, and they can best be set up for that success if you allow them not to be boxed into a role that is dictated by their passion. Secondly, the dangerous assumption their side had about the importance of passion and talent. TLDR, it's overrated and value neutral. We think that you can compete with someone who is talented and passionate because we tell you hard work beats talent when talent refuses to work hard. We think that can actually happen on our side, wherein these people have no choice but to figure it out. They have no choice but to be passionate because they are economically disenfranchised. We tell you that skill and love for what you do comes later as a result of iteration. And lastly, in terms of this debate about where is there more flexibility, guys, what do you expect them to do? Are they gonna, if they're taking on an acting job, are they gonna pretend to be a lawyer, pretend to be a doctor, pretend to be a consultant? Nah, we think that they're largely boxed into that particular industry, and there are certain cultural nuances that affect that, as opposed to being a lawyer and a doctor, wherein you're used to memorizing so much stuff, and you can actually make it in general business and marketing, all these kinds of things. Lastly is the tie back to the role of schools as an educational institution, something of importance, especially when we're talking about a higher degree, something you get from my case, right? We told you about how there's a nuance to load planning, given these schools are businesses, meaning if they want to be able to allocate resources like faculty, like textbooks and all sorts of things, they need to be able to have this funneling mechanism to put people where they need to be for a particular school and a particular industry, and if not, they'll have less capacity and funds to be able to give things like scholarships and grants to the very people who need it. So for all these reasons, TLDR, we actually genuflect and cater to the people who are working, the people who are struggling, and the very people who can't take on so much risk. Proud to take this debate. Thank you for a cool round.